Welcome into a Thursday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, live here from the undisclosed location, driven and powered every single day by Go Chevrolet. GEAUX Chevrolet.com is where you can find them online. Brand newest member to the Go Chevrolet family is over on Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales, a brand new used car lot right here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. But Go Chevrolet conveniently located over there in LaPlace, Louisiana, right off I-10. Stop in and see him today. Lee Carney, Nick Richard, powering us every single day right here on YouTube, Facebook, and, of course, JordyCulottaShow.com. Jam-packed here on this Thursday edition as we will talk to TJ Finley. Finley will stop by here at the end of hour one. He is in the news right now as he is in the transfer portal. Made that official yesterday. Did TJ Finley? We'll ask him why. We'll ask him some of the stops that he'll make before making a decision. We'll also get his thoughts on the competition over on the Ponderosa, as Finley will be here at 7:45 this morning. We'll also talk to Austin Thomas, who is the general manager for LSU Football. We'll talk to Thomas about his thoughts of spring football, that quarterback competition, now that the room is one player light going into the offseason. Some of the things to watch here in this college football offseason, and his anticipation for new offensive coordinator Jake Peets, and new defensive coordinator Durante Jones, new passing game coordinator DJ Mangus. A lot of new faces up at the LSU football facility. We'll talk to Austin Thomas, who is the general manager of the football team, coming up here at 7:30 this morning. And then at 8 a.m. we will go to Auburn and catch up with Nolan Cain, who is on the road this morning as game one between LSU and Auburn tonight from Plainsman Park. Coach Cain, recruiting coordinator, will be here at 8 o'clock this morning. So should be a fast-moving first hour here for you on the Jordy Culotta Show, presented by Go Chevrolet. We got a full undisclosed location. Katie is here. Noah is here in the building, who is handling up on our social media. We had some Nick Ashton graduating or at the end of his semester, and is going to work for doing some work for LSU and on campus. So Noah is going to be taking over our full-time social media director, which we're looking forward to. Jack is here. Jack's also a part of our social media department, doing some on-air stuff.
Little chef's kiss on social media.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. By the way, the social media stuff's been popping. You've been doing a great job. And then Lizzie's here as we get going on this Thursday from the undisclosed location. I guess that is the story that we start with, is TJ Finley. As Finley yesterday entered the transfer portal as he worked through spring football practices, and we knew and kind of anticipated, right? When we would talk about this quarterback competition, whether you started fall camp with the guys that you came out of spring with, or whether you're going to start the first week of game week preparation without the guys, if they were going to give it the fall competition to go through. But you knew that you were going to lose at least one of these guys, because they can all play. I mean, that specifically has been why we have been so high on this quarterback position, is because all these cats can and have played at an SEC level. Now, Garrett Nussmeier comes in as a true freshman, and he's literally he's a high school senior right now. He came in as an early enrollee and was able to go through the 15 practices, and there's not a lot of expectation around Nussmeier to be a key component in the competition next season, but he does give you some added quality depth when you talk about the quarterback spot. Finley, I thought, was going to be the odd man out when they made the Jake Peets hire. I thought when they got back to running that Joe Brady style of offense, which Ogeron said that's what he was seeking, that's what he was looking for in making the hire around the offensive coordinator, was getting back to at least the principles of what that offense looked like under Joe Brady. And the quarterback has to be the quarterback position has to be a threat. The quarterback has to be a threat of more than throwing the ball with your feet and the athleticism. That's why I'm so high on Max Johnson in this competition. I think that Johnson gives you the best option when you think out loud of who is best in more departments, who is best in more categories. I think Johnson checks more boxes. But when you think about TJ Finley and what he brings to a team, if you are a pass-first team and looking for a quarterback that can stand in the pocket and has an absolute rifle connected to his shoulder. Yeah. I mean, that cat has got a cannon connected to his right shoulder. Then, Finley makes a lot of sense. He was 2-3 last year in the 5 games that he played.
He was a true freshman last year?
True freshman last season out of Ponchatoula.
And wasn't he like the #1 recruit, like in Louisiana? Or
he was one of the top. Yeah, he was the top quarterback in Louisiana. And the way that they classify quarterbacks in recruiting is they classify them in 2 categories: a dual threat and a pro-style passer.
Nussmeier was the #1 pro-style.
A pro-style quarterback and a dual threat quarterback.
What was he?
Finley was a pro-style quarterback. Okay. And the pro-style quarterback is defined as somebody that really just stands in the pocket and throws the ball, kind of like a pro-style. Like a lot of NFL offenses ran that for a long time. But now the NFL is even transitioning into a point where they're asking the quarterback position to be a playmaker.
So who's a dual threat in the NFL that I know?
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson, Cam Newton is a dual threat quarterback.
Even if you can just extend the play with your legs, so even Patrick Mahomes,
Aaron Rodgers can keep plays alive with his feet, his athleticism. Joe Burrow is a dual threat quarterback. Joe Burrow was labeled a dual threat quarterback when he was coming out of Athens High School, and if you think back to the 2019 season, some of the biggest plays he made during that year were with his feet. Touchdown run versus Auburn, first down pickup versus Alabama, countless runs down the stretch.
Oh, I mean against Clemson and
versus Clemson.
Yeah, before the half ended. Yeah, I mean that gets us a touchdown. Yeah.
So I mean, just someone that is a threat with their legs. Miles Brennan and TJ Finley are not.
Okay.
Max Johnson.
Do you think that's why TJ Finley got the nod over Max Johnson in the beginning, because it was an easier transition into the offense? Of Miles Brennan's very much a pro-style quarterback, and so is TJ Finley. It's like, all right, we don't have to change what we do because Max Johnson is that dual threat. So like, all right, this is an easier transition to go into what TJ does well and how we're calling our offense now.
Possibly. I also think that TJ last season during the competition took a lot of strides forward. I think that a lot of coaches around the facility were looking at TJ's arm and the ability to stretch the field and thought,
drool.
Yeah, right. Like, I mean, we got to get this guy on the field because, I mean, it just seems like he gives the ability to make plays. I mean, he can pop you over the top. I mean, at any point.
What a weapon.
Do you think he feels like he's not going to be in the spotlight now?
I think that he probably saw that the way that the competition was trending coming out of spring. I think that this competition very much feels like it's between Miles Brennan and Max Johnson. And I think the closer that you ask people around the football facility, the more you learn that it may not be that close. I mean, I know that serves our argument and that serves our stance very well. But there has been a lot of times when we put opinions out on the street and they haven't worked out. In this particular moment, it seems like we're on the right side. It seems like Max Johnson is the guy. I mean, it really does. I mean, the more people that we talk to around LSU football, the more people that we talk to in covering the program, I mean, it just seems like that's who is the best option for this team to win. And like Brian Fletcher points out, last season, Scott Linehan, who was the coordinator, I mean, he was really kind of a pro-style guy.
Well, yeah, that was the point I was trying to make. Like, he did
down specialist.
Oh my God. Well, yeah, they put the label on they did the same Joe Brady label. He's like a third down and red zone specialist. It's like, is he though? And then he wasn't.
Yeah. It is
A little lazy there, guys. That's okay.
It was.
We pop back up. We're back.
That's right. That's exactly right. Well, I mean, you didn't interview him, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we'll talk to TJ Finley coming up here in 30 minutes.
I should have put my name in there.
Why not?
Why not?
Why
About
not?
Finley, I forget how massive he is. He's 6'6", 245.
Oh, I mean, he's
Really?
he is an absolute oak tree in the pocket.
How
I mean,
tall are you?
I have seen
6'4".
I've seen people bounce
Jeez.
off of him.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
he's
as a true freshman,
He's massive.
you see SEC defenders coming off the edge and just have this Cam Newton, Jamarcus Russell type repellent when you hit him. I mean, like, you could be running full speed and almost just bounce off of that guy like a mosquito on a windshield type deal. I mean, I have heard Arkansas. I have heard Texas. We will ask him specifically on where the visits are set up and some of the relationships that he established in recruiting just a year ago, right? I mean, he was just going through this process just over a little bit of a year ago. So, I mean, there's a lot of familiarity with where he is and what he's trying to do. And I think this makes sense. You know, I think this makes a lot of sense for everybody. And, you know, if you're an LSU fan, if you follow the program, I think that there was anticipation that there was going to be a transfer. That there was going to be someone, and they may not be done. They may not be finished as far as transfers go.
What do you mean other people you think are going to go in the transfer
Just the way
portal?
to
If he names Max Johnson the starter going into the season, I wonder how Miles Brennan will react
Oh.
no
because
shot he'll stay.
Miles Brennan is
Walker
he's
Howard
got
coming,
1
Garrett
year.
Nussmeier.
He's got a year left. He's really coming back as a guy that started last season. Now Max Johnson finished the season as the starter, but Miles Brennan had a lot of quality starts under his belt before he got hurt and was considered, you know, I mean, he was considered QB1 going into the season. There was never really any competition on Miles Brennan and Max Johnson and TJ Finley going into the year. It was Miles Brennan's job. He gets the freak injury against Missouri. They go through a couple of quarterbacks. They land on Johnson the last 2 games of the season, and he wins both games in convincing fashion, and the quarterback position is making plays in both of those spots. And now it opens it up to a competition going into the offseason when you bring back in an offensive coordinator that is very comfortable in running RPO, run pass option, or having the quarterback be a threat at that position with his athleticism and with his arm strength. And when you are looking for those qualities in a quarterback and you're looking at LSU's roster, 14 checks more boxes than anybody else. And I wonder how Miles Brennan will react if the day comes that Pete's, Mangus, Kevin Falk, James Craig, the offensive staff, Mickey Joseph, and Ed Ogeron name Max Johnson the quarterback going into the year.
So who would be the backup then?
Miles,
Well,
and
if
then
he
Garrett
left.
Nussmeier.
Okay.
If he left,
Yeah.
Nussmeier, a
Okay.
true freshman.
Walker.
And,
when he
well, I
comes
mean,
in
yeah, but I
next
mean,
year.
Walker Howard's not going to be here for another
He's got to
year.
go win another state championship.
He's going into his senior season. You know, I mean, Walker Howard might start on this team today. You know, I mean, he might beat Max Johnson out, but he's still got to go play his senior year in high school.
Bunch of young-
Yeah, but I mean, you look down the line, and this quarterback room will fill right back up with talent when Walker Howard gets here.
And this is something that a lot of SEC teams and teams around the country are going to have to deal with. You're going to have a healthy competition in the quarterback room, and somebody's going to leave to go be a starter. So a lot of people are going to be left with freshman backups.
Is that
it's
scary,
not just going to be
though?
yes, of
Just
course
to
it
have
is.
one freshman backup here?
Yes,
But that's just the way that the cookie's going to crumble from here on out. Like, people want to go play, and now they get a free year to go do it.
well, and especially at quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean,
You got to get your name out there.
the transfer portal has seen many quarterbacks come and go. The transfer portal is not new to the quarterback position. I mean, a lot of times you will see coaches either recruit one and or possibly 2 quarterbacks every year. Max Johnson and TJ Finley were in the same class. I guarantee when Ogeron was recruiting them both, he was probably thinking not both of them will finish at LSU. But you bring both of them in for them to compete to find out who's the better one or who's better to fit the system. And at this point, it looks like Max is the better option for LSU, but TJ Finley can play a lot of football. So he's getting in the portal. He's going to play, right? I mean, next season, if you were to bring in another quarterback with Walker Howard, which I don't believe you do because I think you're selling to Walker Howard that you're the only guy. But, in years to come, if you start recruiting quarterback at a multiple level in recruiting classes, odds are great that they're not going to finish together. You know what I mean? That is a position that you're going to see turnover every single year if you've got depth. If you've got guys that are competing on a roster, you're going to see turnover because odds are all of them can play. This is the first time that LSU's been in this situation since 2006, 2005, when Ryan Perrilloux, Matt Flynn, and Jamarcus Russell were all on the same campus. I mean, all of those guys took NFL snaps. Ryan Perrilloux won an NFL Super Bowl with the New York Giants. Matt Flynn made more money as a backup than anybody over the last 25 years in the sport. Jamarcus Russell was the number 1 pick in the draft. They've got that type of potential in this room. They don't have the number 1 pick in the draft right now, but Max Johnson looks like somebody that can play at the next level at quarterback. Garrett Nussmeier looks like he's going to bud and develop into something that could be potentially a really good college quarterback and something that the NFL scouts are looking at. And then Walker Howard seems like he's a pro today. So, I mean, LSU has just not been in this situation in a long time, and they hadn't been in this situation a lot of the time. So, when you look at their current setup right now, I think they anticipated being in this position where they'd have to turn a guy over and they'd have to, shift from a 4 quarterback room or a 3 quarterback room to one less.
And it's not a bad thing. It's just something that LSU is not historically, like you said, it's not something that we're used to. Yeah. So we have no idea. Whenever we hear somebody leaving, especially at the quarterback position, everybody in the LSU fan base gets extremely nervous because that has, historically been the worst case scenario, Yeah. So this is going to be kind of a turning of the tide for LSU to see, no, we're here. We can recruit quarterbacks, and this is kind of thing that's going to happen if you do it well.
Patrick Kimry says if LSU loses the last 2 games, which they did come close to doing, are we as hyped about Max Johnson? I think so. I don't think it was the outcome that gets me going about Max Johnson. I think it's I think it's the way he played. Really, when you think of just
composure, he looked very ready for the moment.
Absolutely.
It was, he did not look. There was no bright eyes and oh my God, I'm in the swamp.
The fact that it was close against Florida, and the pregame was the pregame show was what's your expectations of the game? And the guy goes, expectations for what? It's going to be a blowout. And then Max Johnson's first start,
dialed in,
competitive.
And we all talk about the Florida game, but he was phenomenal against Ole Miss.
Well, you kind of have to be. I mean, that defense was porous last year, but still, same.
He's a true freshman playing quarterback in the SEC West.
430 that game. What did he throw?
Butte
got 300.
Yeah, I mean, Butte set the
317.
Set the record. I mean, he set the career program record. But, look, I think when you look at Max Johnson, he's got some Burrow qualities to him.
He does.
He's got Burrow qualities to him in the sense of the obvious is he's a coach's son or he's a football guy's son. And Brad Johnson, he's grown up around it. He breathes it, sleeps it, loves it, a lot like Burrow did growing up in Midwest Ohio and Nebraska. And he just has this quality of toughness that goes unsaid when you watch him play that it really jumps off. I mean, one of the first things I realized about Burrow is that this guy wakes up once you hit him. He doesn't really kind of get into the game until you pop him one time. And once you hit him, he kind of bounces up. He's kind of looking around. He looks like he's alive. Johnson has that quality to him where he looks like he almost invites the physical. He invites you talking trash to him. He invites the competition of what he's in right now. I mean,
it's just it's that demeanor that he has about him that's very cool, calm, and collected. Of he doesn't have to go out and put a big show on to show that he's confident. It's just he lets his game do the talking. And then if you want to talk a little something, he might whisper something to you.
Killer.
Yeah, those are the most intimidating people in the room.
Those are the ones that walk the most heavy.
Yeah,
bro.
That's right.
So we'll see. Charles Bowden says people are quick to dismiss Miles. If he's named the starting quarterback, he will be a top 3 quarterback in the SEC. I don't dismiss Miles' talent. I think the first portion of the season and what we saw from Miles was pretty significant football. I mean, the way that he threw it, the way that he stood in there and was able to deliver it, he was big time. I think that Miles Brennan has a professional quarterback's arm.
Yeah, if you watch
I
him
think
sling
that
it,
I think his velocity, his zip, his timing, that's NFL. That's NFL elite arm strength. If you look at some of the guys that are collecting checks on Sundays to play that position, whether it's starters or backups, Miles Brennan can play in that league. Miles Brennan can have a spot in the NFL. That's why I was very curious on why he came back this season. And again, it is not my place, and I have no really right to question anybody's decision to come back to college and play football. If that's the best decision for you and your family, who the hell am I to say anything whether or not it makes sense? But just from my opinion, my point of view, when you looked at LSU's room, if I was a part of Miles Brennan's consulting team, if I was a part of his inner circle and he said, bro, what do you think? What do you think I should do? I would have said, Miles, let's get the hell out of here. Let's not take these hits for free next season. Let's get on a roster and go get paid somewhere where you can take these hits. But I really love LSU and I want to be the starting quarterback. I don't have anything to tell you or debate that. If that's what you want to do and that's your goal for next season, then jump in that thing and go compete. But here's the deal. You may not win the job. So what would be your plan of action if you don't win the job? If you go back for your senior season in which you're coming off of the year which you were the starter and you were named the starter by the head coach without any competition, but once the season ended, the quarterback competition now is wide open. And they've got competitors there. Do you want to go compete to be the starting quarterback at LSU, or do you want to go compete to be the backup for the Carolina Panthers and make $780,000 a year?
So when will they typically name the starter here?
Fall camp, like
So they
August.
They wait that long.
And it's not a talent thing with Miles. It's absolutely going to be. I think it's a scheme change to where like this is the offense we want to run, and we have a guy that's better suited to do it. It's no plight on what Miles can do when he steps on a football field. It may not fit what we're trying to do this year.
If he, just in the world of hypotheticals, say he is the backup this year and wants to transfer. He redshirted his freshman year and then was injury and then the COVID. He would have another year of eligibility, correct? I mean, he has leverage in that situation. He's got a great arm, and if there's a team in the country that's one quarterback away, I mean, he could really make them a competitor. It's just a scheme thing. He has a phenomenal arm.
But if the argument for Miles is that he loves LSU and that he's always want to be the starter in Baton Rouge wearing purple and gold, there's nothing that anybody can say to debate that. There's nothing that anybody can say to sway that. There's nothing that anybody can say to bring light to, well, maybe it doesn't make the best sense for you to go back to LSU next season. If that's how he feels, go get it, bro. Go win the job. Go get out there and compete and win the gig, because that's the decision that you're making. So, you know,
That's tough.
I wonder what the line of thinking is for the coaching staff, and possibly if they name Max the starter early in the season, does it make Miles make a choice to transfer? Or do you play it in the sense where you name Miles the starter and no, Max isn't going anywhere, but once the play kind of dictates that you may have to put somebody else in there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, because you may make a choice to name Max Johnson the starter and lose another quarterback. And if you do that, LSU's right back into the position that they've always been.
Limbo, yeah.
You're kind of in a bind. You're kind of you're one snap away from a true freshman being your quarterback with a top 5 roster in the sport. You know, I mean, the quarterback position has to be right at LSU this season, because they potentially could win a championship. They have the roster to do that. They have the roster going into the season that makes you believe that they can compete with the top teams in the league. So if the quarterback position doesn't work out, it could cost them a championship.
Context-wise, this is the season. This is all the marbles. You can't from that dumpster fire last year.
Oh, you can't have another output like you did last year, and you
Hell
can't. And then it'll all come back to you.
You can't even flirt
No.
with what last year felt, looked, smelt like. I mean, it can't resemble anything of 2020. I'm talking that they have a championship roster right now. There are teams and there are people that know this team and know these coaches and know this roster that are saying that LSU can compete with Alabama in the SEC West this season, that they could potentially be in Atlanta. I mean, those are some of the expectations that are starting to be planted around this LSU football program. And if the quarterback's position's not figured out, it don't matter. I mean, it don't matter what the depth you have on the defensive line. Doesn't matter the wide receivers you have coming in. Doesn't matter what the defensive backfield looks like. Doesn't matter that you have Eli Ricks and Derek Stingley Jr. on each corner. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
I mean, they'll very much look back at this and point to it if however they decide to do it, and if another person leaves, this will be what they point back to at the beginning of fall and be like, well, if they would have done it this way, then it would have worked out this way. It's a catch-22, dude. It's a tough spot to be in, but that's why you get paid the big bucks.
Daily, we're brought to you by Edward Jones. Remember, our financial advisor over here on the Jordy Culotta Show is Daniel Newman. Make him yours over at Edward Jones. He's online at daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. You can give him a call this morning at 225-261-8262, 261-8262. Get in touch with Daniel Newman today over at Edward Jones. If you're working in the plants, if you're working at Dow, if you're working at BASF, Exxon, get in touch with Daniel about how he can help you out with your financial strategy, whether it is your 401k, your Social Security, or just some investments for with some cash that you have left over. Get in touch with Daniel. Daniel.Newman@edwardjones.com. We'll talk to the general manager of the LSU football program, Austin Thomas, coming up here next. We have just confirmed TJ Finley will be here at 7:45 this morning. Not in the studio. We'll be on the phone.
We're gonna have to fit in here. That's what I was more concerned about.
Me and him are breaking this couch.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
You're off that couch if he's in here. Austin
Dude,
Thomas.
you might be out the chair.
30 seconds from now. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, Jordy@jordyculotta.show.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. Jordy@jordyculotta.show.com to learn more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, daily presented by Go Chevrolet. LSU football coming out of spring drills as the Tigers, we said, man, looks like they have a top 5 roster. Competing for championships is the expectation in Baton Rouge. A lot of that is set by the personnel that walks that building every single day. And the man in charge is the general manager over there, Austin Thomas, back in Baton Rouge. It's great to have a friend of our show back home. But more importantly, for supporters of the LSU football program, to have one of the best in the business back home doing what he loves here in Baton Rouge, and that is helping Ed Ogeron build this championship program over at LSU football, whether it's through roster management or just the day-to-day operations of LSU football. Austin Thomas is the best in the business, and he is wearing the purple and gold again. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Jordy. That was quite the intro, man. But I'm blessed to be back and blessed to be on the show. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. What was your biggest takeaway from you guys coming out of spring?
You know what? I think you said a lot of it right there. Is that we have areas that we need to improve. We have things that we need to work on this summer individually and as a staff and players to put ourselves in position to compete for a championship. But we feel really good about our roster. I think we're going to have the ability to compete at a high level. And what was nice about spring, in my opinion, is we were able to see kind of some experience and, get some of these guys back, some of the veterans on the offensive and defensive line and in some key areas, but then kind of infuse that with some young talent and some guys that are going to push the floor of our roster up, right, and make us competitive and push that top group to bring it every day. And, we challenged our guys at the beginning of spring to give us 15 great days, not good days, great days. And kudos to our players for doing that and coming to work every day. So feel really solid about where we are coming out of spring and really, really looking forward to the summer.
You're one of the new faces, but you're back in the building. You spent some time at LSU before a couple of stints around the conference and at Baylor, but now back in Baton Rouge. But new faces are on campus with guys like Durante Jones on defense. Jake Peets is on offense running that unit. How have you seen the chemistry with the staff come together over those 15 practices and just the short time you guys have been working together heading into the offseason?
Amazing. You know what? I think when I got back to Baton Rouge, that was before any of the hires were made. And so, just working with Coach O and everything we do, kind of resetting ourselves, regrounding ourselves, and building this program again from not the ground up, but kind of just resetting our vision and saying, all right, we're going to do everything with purpose and intent. Why are we doing what we're doing? And we went out and we found young coordinators that were innovative. They had energy. They're intellectually just very, very smart. And it's been great to watch them communicate with the staff, watch them communicate with players, and bring some new things to Baton Rouge. I think it's a constant battle wherever you are, right, to continue to press forward and not be content with where you are. And so to have those guys here and see the energy they bring and their ability to communicate across the board, whether it's, coach to coach or coach to player, and create a trust and transparency with our roster has been amazing. So we're really, really excited about our new staff.
I don't know if there's been a program that has had more success in the graduate transfer and transfer portal than LSU with the guys that you've been able to just kind of plug and play out of that system. What is the method of the transfer portal from your point of view, Austin, somebody that you watch this roster day in, day out and make sure that it's managed correctly? How do you guys manage the transfer portal when putting your roster together?
You know what, Jordy, I think it's kind of twofold. I think it's a conversation that you have to have daily. I think there are people that tend not to pay attention to it. And, those are the ones that I don't think are as successful. And on top of that, you have to know your roster. And so understanding what your needs are and doing a real dive into, players that can help you and where your weaknesses could be. But at the end of the day, you have to identify those and go out and try to find the best. And I think with where we are at LSU, the model that we have, in personnel, we have an unbelievable team of guys that are constantly looking at the transfer portal, constantly pulling up film, getting college clips of guys, and just making sure that once we have that understanding of where we are, trying to identify those needs and make sure that we fill in those gaps to make us as strong as possible. So it's one of those things that you have to balance and you have to embrace, right? I think, my philosophy is, let's learn from this. Let's learn how to handle this. Let's learn how to manage this. Let's, find a way to make it a strength for us as opposed to complaining about it and it becoming a weakness.
You guys have recruited at such a high level at the quarterback position that LSU is in a spot that they've not routinely found themselves with very healthy competition coming out of spring and heading into the fall. One of those guys in the competition put their name into the portal. What are those conversations like with somebody on your team that wants to enter the portal? And I say this very fragilely. Did you guys anticipate maybe losing one of those quarterbacks just because of the nature of that position and how good the competition was at that spot or is at that spot?
Yeah, I think you mentioned it. It's a fine line, Jordy. You want to create a relationship with your players, and I talked about this just a minute ago. The ability to manage your roster and kind of see things and the foresight of what is to come. I think this is the healthiest quarterback room that we've had in my time at LSU, and so I think that's a great thing. And we want guys here that want to compete. And So that room really, really pushed each other this spring. But, you know, you have to invest in your players, and retention is now going to be a big word in college football, in my opinion, right? With the way that the transfer portal is now, and this one-time transfer that's about to be passed by the NCAA, you know, you're going to have to retain players. And so, you know, you used to just could recruit them, sign them, develop them, send them, you know, to the NFL. And when they were here with, you know, with a lot of restrictions to get out and go somewhere else. But, you know, now with the NCAA opening this up, you really, really have to do a good job with retention. And so finding creative ways to keep our players engaged, to keep them here in Baton Rouge is going to be really important. And, you know, I think with a quarterback room as healthy as we have, we're disappointed to see anybody leave our roster. I think it's our job as leaders of men to continue to develop these guys holistically. So we're very disappointed anytime anybody leaves our roster, but at the same time, we understand that, you know, especially at a position like quarterback, there's only one that can play. So we want competition. We want our guys here. We never want them to leave. But I'm not going to tell you that we probably didn't anticipate losing one here, you know, at some point.
You guys probably have the best wide receiver class in the country coming in as true freshmen. Deion Smith was in during spring drills. He was limited with a foot injury and was able to get on the field the last couple of weeks of spring. But some of those new faces, Mason Smith looks like he's going to make an impact. And then a lot of people are very excited down the line of what Garrett Nussmeier could mean to the quarterback position. What did you make of those early enrollees that came in for spring? And how much does that give them a step ahead of the class, just kind of knowing and seeing and understanding how it works before the summertime?
The advantage that those guys have that come in the spring, it's astronomical. I mean, you know, they're essentially sophomores, right? Mm-hmm. You know, you have our sophomore class now that a lot of them, because of COVID last year, you know, they really didn't get here till the summer. They didn't get here till June, and it wasn't even a real off season. And so you take guys like Garrett that you mentioned and Mason Smith, and there are a bunch of others that have come in and had an impact. You ask those guys, they can't even believe, you know, the strides that they've made in these 5.5 months. And we have a great group of young guys here right now, and really looking forward to getting the rest of our freshman group here at the end of May, I guess, so that they can start summer school. And so we're really excited about that, and can't wait to put it all together and make sure that we are as strong as possible going into the season. You
have scouted Derek Stingley Jr. over the past couple of seasons as an opponent 2 years ago. And it feels like he is set to be maybe the best defender in college football. I know ESPN is in town and doing a docuseries on him through the weekend. Inside the building, what is the expectation on Stingley heading into essentially what is his money year in the draft?
Sure. Elite player. I think we can all say that, you know, just an amazing young man. And we are blessed to have a Derek as part of our team, as a leader on our team, a kid from Baton Rouge. You know, just everything that he represents for this program is amazing for us, and just the way that he's handled his business. You know, the expectation, I hesitate to put an expectation on a player because, you know, they already carry so much of a load. So what we have to do as a program is manage it, right? Manage Derek, make sure that, you know, we're putting him in position to have success, and that we're doing things on our end. I think it's a lot more about us than it is him. His natural ability and talent is off the charts, and I think everybody knows that. But we as a program, as coaches, as leaders, need to do a good job of taking some of that load off of him and putting him in position to have success, and making sure that it doesn't feel overwhelming for him, that it's not a situation where he feels like he's carrying too much of the load. So we want him to know that we love him. We're in this with him, just like all of our players, and we're a team. But blessed beyond measure to have Sting. He's a great representative of us.
Austin, back to recruiting. With the dead period ending and now recruits being able to take visits, do you see that impacting on when they will actually sign? Do you see that early signing period still being the time to push for, or do you go back to that February signing date?
No, I think the early signing period is still going to be really, really key. I think most guys, especially with this opening up this year, June 1st, you know, these guys are chomping at the bit to get out, visit campuses, and see places that, you know, they've not been able to visit for a year. A lot of times by now, even if they're underclassmen, they've gone through and seen a bunch of campuses and been to a bunch of places unofficially, and now you've got a whole class of kids in 22 and even trickle some into 23 that have never been to a college campus. So I think a lot of these guys, when this opens in June, are even though they've had a lot of communication with colleges, they're looking to get places and visit and make decisions. So we still feel pretty strongly that that December signing period is going to be the majority of signing for our class.
Good morning, Austin. I appreciate you taking time with us this morning. You said one of the key words was retention in the world of college football. We kind of saw it with the offensive line this summer or this year, everybody coming back. How do you think we can keep building on that, what we did with the offensive line? And you think that's going to be a continuing trend with that strategy we did to get the offensive line to come back, of keeping guys at LSU like that?
Yeah, I think, I think it's really, really important. Again, I think it comes back to your relationship and building relationships with your players, right? And that starts in the recruiting process, but, you know, it carries on into their career at LSU. And so, you know, making sure that we're developing them holistically and that we're providing the best of the best for our players, you know, when they get here, whether that's, you know, academically, athletically, socially, spiritually, whatever you say, all walks of life, we're here to be there with them. And so, you know, it's a fragile dynamic, right? Because you have guys that are probably going to be backups that could be starters other places. And with the rules the way they are now, you have to find a way to keep those guys engaged. You have to find a way to keep those guys happy, because you don't want them leaving and depleting your roster. So finding a way to continue to develop them and you know, make them see and feel like they're part of what you're doing while waiting their turn. It's going to be a situation that I don't think any of us have been through. So trying to walk through it the best we can is going to be important. But at the same time, you know, I feel very, very confident in who we are and our leadership and what we represent to get that job done.
Austin Thomas, General Manager, LSU Football, joining us here on the Jordy Culotta Show, presented by Go Chevrolet. Last one, we'll get you out of here. I know you're busy on this Thursday. Thank you for your time. You guys anticipate 100,000 Tiger Stadium next year, or at least planning as far as normalcy goes for the season?
You know what, Jordy, we are planning that way. I'm going to leave that up to you know, our state and our local health officials and LSU officials to make sure that we do everything and follow proper protocol. But we would love nothing more than to play in front of a full Tiger Stadium this fall. And while we feel like things are trending that way, I don't want to put the cart before the horse. So we're gonna follow the lead of our leadership, and we will go from there. But definitely looking forward to the fall, and let's get this thing knocked out so that we can play in front of 100,000.
Follow him on Twitter. It is easy to find him. He is at LSU Football GM. He is Austin Thomas, back home running the football program alongside Ed Ogeron, as they have a great roster going into the summer and off season before next season. And the recruiting class in the state of 2022 is just dripping with talent. We appreciate your time as always, AT. We'll catch up soon.
Hey, thanks, Jordy. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate all you do. Y'all have a blessed day.
Yes, sir. There he is, Austin Thomas, checking in from LSU Football this morning with a little insight on where they are. Let's jump in right to our next conversation, as I was going back and forth with TJ Finley, and I know that he is getting scheduled to work out this morning. So we'll dial him up right here this morning on the Jordy Culotta Show.
Just right into it.
Yeah, we're going to go right. Well, I told him 7:45.
Yeah, we're right there.
And I don't want to be late. TJ.
How you doing?
My man. How are you, man? Good morning. We're live, buddy. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. No problem. Obviously, you are front page news right now in college football. Tell me what led you to the decision to ultimately put your name into the transfer portal, which was official yesterday.
I guess the main factor for me going in, making this decision, I've been thinking about this since, last season and after the ups and downs that I had, there was a need for me to get an opportunity to, really show what I can do at another school. And I felt like during the spring, I was given that opportunity and things went well for me. And, I actually had a very great, very good spring. But, it was just too many guys in our room that could play immediately. And somebody had to make the decision, which one of, out of the three, me, Max, and Miles, which one was going to stay and who was going to leave and things of that nature. And I just, I felt in my heart that, I could play at any Power 5 school in the country. So, for me to be able to start this fall, I would need to transfer in the summer to have that time to develop with the guys and at the new school or, be able to compete with another guy for the fall to be able to earn that job.
Your phone's got to be blowing up, bro.
Absolutely.
I bet it is, dude.
I have over 200 text messages in the past, I'd say 8 hours.
Wow. Is that crazier than recruiting, or does it just kind of take you back to where you were just over a year ago?
Kind of takes me back to where I was a year ago. I'm glad I'm not a bad person, so all these bridges would have been burned during recruitment of, when I was coming out of high school. But, I'm grateful that I treated everyone with respect and gave the coaches their due diligence in their recruitment. And now they're able to recruit me again. So, everything comes back full circle.
That's got to be a great life lesson for you at a young age, man, because some people are still late in their business career trying to figure out that you shouldn't have burned that bridge back, 15, 10 years ago. And for you to learn that at 19, 20 years old is a very valuable learning lesson young in life. What was last season like for you in those 5 starts? You looked dominant at times. You looked like a true freshman at times. But at the end of it, you got great experience going into your sophomore season. What was last year like for you?
It was the best thing I could have ever asked for. And I'm going to tell you why. So, and you named everything that, that I was feeling. All the ups and downs came with the positives and the negatives. I took the positives, and going into spring, I told myself, what am I doing good at? What did I do good at in the 5 games? And I think it was poise. Mm-hmm. I think it was the ability to not be rattled in the moment.
Yep.
I think it was the ability to calm my guys down in each and every game. And, eventually in each and every game that I played in, we eventually, drove the ball down the field and had some successful drives, just didn't come away with any points. Yeah. And then I took the negatives, which was, turning the ball over and putting the ball in harm's way, on critical downs and things of that nature. And I went into the off season, and I focused really on the negatives. So the main thing that helped me this year was, like you said, experience. Mm-hmm. And that is one thing going into this portal that I have an advantage over some of the guys that haven't played yet. Yeah. So a lot of schools are looking for some guys with experience, and I played it. I'm playing in the hardest conference in college football. Yeah. So when that experience raises a flag to these coaches and let them know, like, he's played 5 games in the SEC. He knows what it looks like. He knows what it feels like. He put up these numbers and blah, blah, blah. So, that experience is really going to help me going into this process.
TJ, you mentioned the poise. Bro, there's some juniors and seniors that take college football snaps on Saturday that don't look as calm and cool as you did last season. Was that
absolutely? Was
that a duck on water type thing where you looked like you were calm but maybe freaking out underneath the water, or were you that prepared where you looked? I mean, you just have this certain calm to you where even when you watch you play, you feel confident because you put off this air like, I got it. I got what's going on. I know what we're doing. Is that natural for you, or is that something that you have to pay attention to?
And I'm gonna say this, and I pray no one thinks of me as boastful in any way.
No way, bro.
I work hard to continue my reputation of being the most humblest guy in the room. But I'm gonna be honest with you, it really is natural. My mom is a minister, and my dad is an entrepreneur. My mom speaks very well in public. She has been through a lot in her life, and she has, my parents has done a very great job with preparing me for the hardest moments in life. When we were kids, they purposely put us through things to test our ability to, stand on water and stand on our own 2 feet and be the man I am today. So I give that credit to my parents. They have done an amazing job with preparing me for anything life throws at me. And I believe that's why people were so amazed at how I dealt with, the negatives of last year. I was on the sideline the last 2 games. I supported the guys. I was never bitter towards anyone. I was just ready to help in any way I can and work, get everybody better. So, to me, that poise and that, humbleness and all that comes natural to me. I've been working, with that for a while now.
What a great answer. I mean, like, if I'm a college football coach, bro, if I don't have your number, I got to get that the next 10 minutes. Do you have any do you have any qualifications, or do you want to stay in the SEC? Is it a relationship with coaches that you're looking for? Or is it just the opportunity to play immediately? What are you looking for in your next school?
One is the opportunity to play immediately, and I'm not saying walking in starting or, any promises that has to be made, blah, blah, blah. I just want an opportunity to come in and compete and start for this fall. And as far as SEC to SEC, I don't think that rule has been passed to where the one-time transfer is eligible for the SEC to SEC yet. But I heard it's coming up, it's going to be passed coming up. And so that is kind of wavering my decision on if I want to commit in the next 2 weeks or if I want to wait till that rule is passed, because, if I can go to another SEC school, I think that'll help me in the NFL draft when the coach is looking at my stats, So, I don't know. It's just a lot that's going into it right now. I have a lot of influences that's telling me different things. So I kind of just have to just get to myself and, me and my family and just come up with the best decision that's best fit for me.
TJ, I appreciate you taking time with us. I do need to get you out of your comfort zone. I need you to be a little boastful for me. If I'm a college coach, what am I getting out of you? What are your best attributes?
Let's see. I would say, and I'm only going to give you one because this speaks high volume. Natural born leader.
Yes.
Amazing.
And a lot of guys saw this, live on TV. I've seen some quarterbacks when they have downs, with their team, and I'm gonna just go specific. I'm gonna go offensive line. Those guys feed off of the quarterback. Those guys, you have to have a relationship with them guys. And I saw that firsthand as soon as I started. After South Carolina, I took the O-line out every Wednesday to a buffet. And we really enjoyed
Bro,
our
where'd you
time
find
together.
a buffet during COVID?
Right, yeah. Luckily,
We ordered in.
We were LSU.
No, keep going though. This is a great answer too.
Like I was saying, I would just say, like natural born leaders, it's just guys feed off of the quarterback. And if you throw an interception, if you throw 2 interceptions, let's go to Auburn. I threw 2 interceptions and had a fumble. But I was always positive to everybody. I was always picking them up, and they were picking me up the same way. They knew, I had some games where I struggled and I couldn't get it going, but they trusted in me. I trusted in them. And that's why I say natural born leader, because no matter what happens in a game, no matter what happens in life, I will always find a positive in any situation and make it bigger than what it's supposed to be.
Ponchatoula's finest, the Strawberry King, TJ Finley joining us here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Tell me about Jake Peets. What was he like working with just a short time like you did?
He is an amazing guy. He is definitely NFL caliber. He comes from NFL people. He is one of the NFL, guys. And I truly believe that. I really appreciate all the work that he has done with me personally. The last 4 years, he has grown. He has shaped me tremendously from last year to this year, and you will see that player come out this year.
Before you leave, could you go on about that buffet story? So you would take them out every Wednesday, because those are the guys protecting you?
Yes, I would take them out every Wednesday to a buffet, and sometimes we would go to like a Japanese spot with shrimp fried rice and noodles and things of that nature. But I would take them out to eat, and I would pay for it, and I would just make sure we were all on the same page with the protections and all that. And then after that, we would just talk as friends and family. And I feel like that time was the best for us because we actually got to bond and talk about everything that was going on, everything that they were struggling with or I was struggling with, just any personal stuff that they wanted to get out on the table. That was the area we could do it. Because as players, we felt like in the building, it's majority football. It's no, how I feel, blah, blah, blah. It's time to get to work, put your head down, let's go. And I gave them guys an opportunity and an outlet to let them know that, if y'all need anything, bro, I'm here. I don't care how young I am. I might be 17, 18 years old, but I understand the business. I understand how football makes you frustrated sometimes, and you have no way of letting that out. And so every Wednesday we would have that, and that would be a great way to tell how everybody was feeling and things of that nature, get that under our belt. So that was a pretty good time for us, and I really think it benefited, all them guys as well.
So good, man. At TJ_Finley1 is where you find him on Twitter. I don't mean to put you on the spot. You don't have to answer this. If you had a vote, who's going to be LSU's quarterback next season?
I will not answer that.
Uh-huh. What goes on for you now? So where do you go from here? Where does your workouts go? What's your daily schedule like?
Wake up every morning at 7, do a little light jog, get some cardio in and get some core, eat a little small breakfast, and then probably around like noon, probably gonna go lift some weights. And I'm a big basketball guy, so late at night I go and do some private runs with some, college guys that play basketball because, I could have went to college to play basketball, but, of course I chose football. But I go do that, play with some guys, and then after that, I think either, depending on how I'm feeling, I either go lift weights some more late at night with my little brother, or, I'll just call it a night after that.
I got you as a point forward. I got you bringing it up, but can post up on the block and knock down an 8 to 10 footer. What's your strong suit on the wood?
Point forward for sure.
Yep.
But I have one of the best 3-point shots in the state of Louisiana. So
you guard that.
I don't do much posting up.
But once you pull us out, once you pull that defense up, you can back them down. You can start backing them down.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Point Zion.
Absolutely.
That's right. How good is Zion?
Sure.
How good is Zion?
He's amazing. He's a freak of nature. I'll tell you that. I've never seen a guy that big jump that high.
Anybody you look up to? Football, basketball? What athletes do you look
basketball, at? I'm gonna go basketball, and I'm gonna go LeBron James. And if I'm going football, I look up to Tom Brady, and just how they prepare for the game is just different. And that's one trait that I'm trying to develop myself into, and I think that takes time because they weren't where they are right now a couple years ago. So that quality and that trait takes time, but I will eventually get there.
Hank Tierney is one of the great high school football coaches in the state of Louisiana. He has coached some of the best talent that has ever come out of this state. He calls you the best player he ever coached. He changed his entire offense and his identity for the 3 years that he had you, for the 4 years he had you as a starter. What does Hank Tierney and what's Ponchatoula mean to you?
Means the world to me. Coach Hank gave me the opportunity to showcase my talent to the collegiate level. He could have been a stubborn head coach and made me run the fear offense, which he knew was not beneficial for me because I was not a running quarterback. But he could have for sure did that. And I thank him in everything that I do. Any award that I've won, I've given most of the credit to him because he put me in this position as a high school quarterback. He gave me the keys to the cruise my sophomore year, which is unexpected. Coaches really don't do that. I've never heard of a coach that just lets the quarterback call his own plays as a sophomore. So,
Wow.
A lot of things that's going on is because of him and still because of him. So, Coach Hank and Ponchatoula means the world to me.
TJ Finley, Louisiana is behind you, my man. We are pulling for you. Wherever you land, you've got fans here on the Jordy Culotta Show. This was a fantastic interview. Thank you for the time this morning. I know that everybody's trying to get at you, and you didn't have to do this, and we appreciate that very much. Congratulations on your decision. Best of luck on your choice, and go get them, bro. We're pulling for you. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Good luck, TJ.
TJ Finley, checking in this morning.
Yeah, what a guy.
How you not going to love that?
Oh my
That was
gosh.
not a 19-year-old, 20-year-old
I
talk.
know.
No way, right?
I kind of want him back.
I
don't want him to go.
I mean, that was
Hey,
so
TJ, you sure?
good,
Come on,
bro.
we can't work this out.
That was so good. Daily, we're brought to you by Nevadis. Nevadis designs and develops custom
kid.
web and mobile applications. Get in touch.
Crushed the interview.
with Randall
I'm sorry,
Knockman.
that was
I mean,
unbelievable.
That was so good, man. That was.
You want me to cut that up for it and send it to him so I can send it to about 55 coaches?
Yes, please,
Yes.
definitely. We're going to send that to him directly. But if you don't listen to that as a coach and fall in love,
That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
That's
just like,
dude.
good.
Everybody's
God.
in love now.
Yeah, the door's open.
It goes down over fried rice.
Get in touch. How about that?
That was all. I love that. That was
Good
awesome.
job bringing you back on that answer.
Yeah.
Randall Knockman over at Nevadis designs and develops custom web and mobile applications. Some of their favorite things to automate include order management, payment processing, communications, time tracking, etc. If any of those things make sense to you as a business owner, get in touch with Nevadis today. As you see the hat every single day, Randall Knockman and the crew over at Nevadis helping us out with our web design and our mobile application. They're great people and easy to work with, Nevadis. Let's take a break, reset. We're going to talk to Nolan Cain in 10 minutes here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We'll talk LSU baseball, but I feel like I need a cigarette after that TJ Finley.
You wine and dined us.
Good Lord, that was so good. We'll be back with more of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, Jordy@JordyCulottaShow.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. Jordy@JordyCulottaShow.com to learn more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in LaPlace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, Jordy@JordyCulottashow.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. Jordy@JordyCulottashow.com to learn more.
Well, folks, it's time to kick it old school. So you can feel cool. Give it to me, baby. Baby. Yeah.
Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show. Still coming down off that Austin Thomas and TJ Finley hour we just spent.
Woo.
Hour.
That was incredible.
When you're hot, dude.
That is scorching.
Yeah.
Right there, man.
Keep shooting. Keep shooting. Feed the man the rock.
That is Scottsdale in the summer right there, man. That is hot. TJ Finley, thank him very much for stopping by here this morning. I'm still trying to pull out of him through text message who his vote is for the starting quarterback. He's not giving it up.
Said you gotta come to lunch. Gotta come to dinner.
Ain't happening. Got to get him to a buffet. Landing spots? Anybody got a vote? I say Arkansas. You know who else I hear is a dark horse? Is Florida.
That's what I was going to say.
What
Florida.
about A&M?
Oh, I don't like that. I don't want to have to play him again. I'm not rooting against him. I know that.
know.
I'd like it too much. Like, he scored.
Should go to
Someone
You
said
should go to
A&M.
Stanford or Harvard. He's so well
sounded-
spoken and so smart.
It sounded like SEC was.
Without a doubt, he wouldn't inquire about that if it wasn't.
Sounded like
If
that's
he
the
sticks
deal.
it to us, I swear to God.
I know, man. Florida, A&M, and Arkansas could all work out for Finley. You know what I mean?
After hearing that, dude, how could they not be at least entertain the idea of it?
Oh,
Everyone
gosh.
should be after him.
They are. I mean, what did he say? 200 text messages?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Brandon
What do you
Harris-
do with your phone?
Brandon Harris has got a great relationship with him over at the University of Texas. I mean, he's a quarterback's coach over there. Ellinger's left. I mean, there are a lot of
Sark.
places that make sense for TJ Finley.
Dan Mullen's a quarterback whisperer, I guess.
Yeah.
So
I see it.
it'll be
want
interesting
to
to
go to
see where this thing
Dan
works
Mullen,
out
love him.
and
Yeah,
where.
that's my boy, Dan Mullen.
He is.
Are you a
We'd
big
love
Mullen
him.
fan? Yeah. Okay.
I mean, she
I
has
didn't know
to
if you were,
be.
I didn't know if you were sarcastic on that.
Have we met?
No, the Mississippi State.
Yeah. I mean, because some of the state fans are a little
I mean, yeah,
bitter on
sometimes-
the way that he
yeah,
left.
there's a lot of bitterness,
Yeah.
but he's a great guy. He's an
Yeah.
amazing coach.
He is the best coach that y'all have ever had,
You'll ever have.
and ever.
Hey.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey,
You
Forever-
enjoyed him. At least
forever, ever.
Remember that one night? Yeah. You'll
Yes.
always think about Dan.
Yes, we know. Remember, daily here, we're brought to you by RMB Builders, Rhett Bourgeois and the crew, rmb-builders.com. Get in touch with Rhett, his guys over there, if you need commercially built design or anything around the office or around the house. They can help you out. Custom-made homes, remodel, helping me out with a little restoration of a bathroom over here. So at the undisclosed location. So get in touch with Rhett Bourgeois. rmb-builders.com is where you can find Rhett Bourgeois.
he's still at my house, by the way.
No
too.
way.
Yeah.
No way.
Kitchen stuff now.
Wow. Your place may have been built on a graveyard.
I know.
It could have
Indian
been.
burial
I mean,
grounds.
is it haunted over there?
That's what Rhett says. Just because I rolled down the Indian mounds.
Yeah, I'm sure your
At the
contractor
Alabama
is
game.
saying that. It's a gold mine of an Indian mound that this place was built on. We'll be back for some kitchen work next week, Katie.
Keep digging.
Same credit card, right, Dave? Good deal. We'll just run it. We'll run it every Friday.
Husband must love you.
He's over me.
Yes.
So this NIL stuff, this name, image, and likeness stuff is really starting to take off from a state standpoint. Texas is now promoting towards the name, image, and likeness and being able to build a brand in Austin, Texas, Steve Sarkisian is tweeting out about how you can build a brand at the University of Texas, and going into some of the programs and some of the things being designed around name, image, and likeness. This is something that we're going to talk to Representative John Stefanski on Monday.
Ooh, he's coming back.
He's coming back.
Yeah.
Stefanski's coming back. Doing a little dinner tonight with Stefanski.
Ooh.
Yep. Another one of our man crushes.
Well, that's a legitimate one.
On the Jordy Culotta Show.
My
Add
goodness.
TJ Finley to the stable.
I know.
Yeah.
He's on
Yes,
there now.
he's absolutely
and neither
one
of
of
them
our
have
man
middle
crushes.
parts. So
If he doesn't get,
this goes to
Watch
show.
out.
TJ can park that thing in
They
the middle.
can, they can. Get those rows going left and right.
If he doesn't go SEC, do you think he'll pick up the phone still for us?
Yes. Absolutely. I mean, he
Because
just gave me the anytime, and we're
why
texting
not?
over here like little
I
schoolgirls.
see you're very occupied over there.
I am
Do
going
I have
back
your
and forth.
attention?
No, wait, what?
I mean,
What?
Major crush. We have major crushes.
So this name, image, and likeness stuff is going to be something to watch, and I think that you're seeing state legislation being now tasked with giving this thing guidelines. And
Yeah, I was just gonna say, what are the guidelines?
that's what we're going to ask Stefanski about.
It's Wild Wild West.
Stefanski's trying to corner Louisiana on sports gambling. There is a big marijuana push right now up at the Capitol when you're looking around states and seeing what they're both doing medically and recreationally. And then the name, image, and likeness is something that is at some point going to dominate the legislative session.
So
there are so many things on the agenda right now that they are getting to up there, but a sleeping giant down the list of agended items during this legislative session is name, image, and likeness, and how it's done around student athletes. So,
could I get a breakdown? I don't really speak communist with the NCAA, so I don't get their lingo. So would I be able, like, with this, would you be able to, like, sell a Derek Stingley Jr. T-shirt in the bookstore, or no?
I don't see, like, that's where I think it's going to. You can't infringe upon the university's business relationships. Like, I think that Derek Stingley Jr. would be off limits during his time representing LSU. So pre and post game press conferences, but you can, as if you're a prominent lawyer, restaurant in town, you can say, hey, Sting, come to my place after the game on Saturday night. I'll pay you $1,500 just for showing up. And then if I'm a business, let's say I'm the Jordy Culotta Show, and I say, hey, Sting, will you put the Jordy Culotta Show hat on and we'll pay you $1,000 just for doing it that night? Well, Sting's just collected nearly $3,000, $2,500 for just an appearance fee of 30 minutes after the game, in which he's not representing or wearing anything LSU, nothing Nike. And imagine that Nike's probably going to step in and say, hold up. We got a multi-million-dollar contract with LSU specifying that their athletes don't wear anything but the check. So Sting can't be sitting in a post-game press conference with an Adidas hat on. That's not going to fly. I can't see where that's going to fly from an LSU standpoint.
Correct.
But now Adidas can come to Sting and say, hey, once you leave campus and you go to that restaurant on Sunday to watch the Saints game, will you put a Adidas Saints cap on and let us stream it, and we'll pay you X amount of dollars?
So that's interesting you bring that up, because remember there was the whole investigation of Zion Williams and that Nike gave him money to go to Duke. So would this likeness be that Nike and Adidas can be like, you're going to be a signature athlete while you're in college?
That's what I think is a lot of what's going on right now, because the shoe companies control college basketball.
Well, they're the reason that this exists.
That's why all this exists.
Yeah, everybody was funnled to schools through shoes. Yeah,
Nike completely paid Zion to go there.
Absolutely.
That's okay.
And they outbid Adidas.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's
I'm
how
okay with that.
Yeah, sure.
you have to be.
Absolutely.
Capitalism, baby.
I want them to make
At
as
its
much,
finest.
Yeah,
I love it.
I want them to make as much money as they can when they can, because you never know what's going to happen.
Well, why can I go get the architect at the architecture school at 18, 19 years old and say, this kid's a phenomenon? He's a phenom. I want to pay him to join my company today. And you can do that legally. I can't look at Derek Stingley Jr. and say, this kid's a phenom. I want to hire him to represent my company and use his name, image, and likeness to promote myself. Why not? Why can that kid do it in architecture school, but Sting can't? Look, that's the argument, and people have been arguing it for Decades.
Yeah, call Jay Billis if you
Our-
want to have that
decades.
Our
conversation.
peasant's
Unbelievable.
mind can't understand how great the NCAA is. It's like teaching an ant math. We would just never understand.
No, it's
the
crazy.
NCAA.
I mean, think about how bad at their job they have been for the last decade. Mark Emmert just got an extension. He just got a raise.
Brad,
No,
you were saying
but not only
he's
that,
got-
they're so bad at it, they just throw shit at the wall until it sticks, and they confuse us so much to the point where, like, well, I guess we can't do it.
Yeah,
It's not even worth asking the
That is
question
what
anymore.
happens.
It is.
And so we're just like, all right, well, I guess we can't.
Let him
Yeah.
drink from the fire
yeah,
hydrant.
just
Drown them.
Open it up
Just
again.
drown them. All right, let's call Nolan Cain, Big Daddy Kane, over in the on the
Got some
plains.
big shoes to fill.
Who?
God,
On
Nolan.
interview-wise, Nolan
Oh, I
does.
know.
Yeah, after
I know.
that interview.
I know. He's one of the best.
He is. He's great.
For sure.
Big Daddy Kane.
Hey, what's going on?
How are you, buddy? Good morning. We're live.
Doing good.
Good to talk to you.
Okay, awesome.
Sorry, I just didn't want us to get into any weird stuff.
There we go.
You guys open up tonight versus Auburn. Landon Marceau gets to start. Coach, Marceau has he gotten the amount of spotlight that he deserves because he's been dominant up to through this sophomore season.
Yeah, he's definitely gotten that spotlight, around Baton Rouge
Sure.
and Louisiana. And I think, there's been a little national spotlight on him. But, there's just so many arms in this league and around the country this year with the 5-round draft last year. And there's just a lot of really good arms in college baseball right now. But, I mean, what he's doing is as good as what we've had a starting pitcher do, maybe since, Alex Lang. 67 innings pitched. He's punched out 80. He's only walked 13. This guy is an absolute bulldog out there. He's a leader. He comes back to the dugout. He's fired up. He's keeping our team in the game. And, certainly we haven't gotten him the wins that he deserves this year. But I think you're looking at a guy that, before the year was, people were talking about maybe in the sixth round. And, he's pushed himself up maybe into the bottom of that second round, third round type talk. So, he's done a fantastic job for us this year and gives us a chance to win every time he rolls out there.
What's Giovanni meant being back in the lineup? Dale, he's batting .429 right now and 6 for 14 in his last 4 games. Couple of doubles, 4 ribbies, 4 runs scored. I mean, his impact has been felt. What's it feel like inside the locker room and day in, day out?
With that kid, it was almost like when he pulled that hammy earlier in the year, people forgot we had him, and forgot that was a big piece of our team. He's solid behind Judd Fabian, the center fielder at Florida. He's probably the second best defensive outfielder in this league. He can really go get it. And, offensively, the kid hit close to 300 as a freshman. He was leading our team in hitting in a short season last year. The summer before, he hit 300 in the Cape. The guy's always – it may not be the prettiest at times, but the guy finds a way to get on first base. And, once he does that, he's deadly out there. Can steal second, steal third. He scored from first on a single the other day against Southern, which was just absolutely ridiculous as a third base coach to thinking that I was going to be able to send that guy. And
Right.
he's an elite athlete, man, and his swing has consistently gotten better. Eddie's done a great job with him. And, it's been a big, big piece for us getting him back and then getting him back in the groove of things.
You recruited Morgan, so you've been watching him play for a long time. Trey Morgan, your first baseman. Did you have any idea that his athleticism was going to translate to college baseball so quickly, like it has in year one? Just watching him play, he looks like a defensive back over there.
The one thing I always knew the kid was confident in his abilities, but for that to show up every day, the way he owns that batter's box.
Yep.
He owns that plate, and he's going to let you know it. And there's a lot of confidence in there, and that's something that you don't normally see from a freshman to go out there and probably truly believe that you're the best player on the field. And I knew everything he was going to do defensively, and I knew that he was going to, put balls in play and battle and walk a lot and not strike out very much. But I think when you're looking at a freshman hitting 349 and doing really well in this league as well as a young player, it's tough to ever say, hey, this kid's going to do this, or do that, because you've never seen him do it and they haven't experienced it yet. But, man, he's a special player, him and Cruz both, and it's awesome for LSU baseball that we're going to have those guys for 2 more years after this as well.
Yeah, Cruz mashing as well, 389 right now, 7 for 18 in his last 5 games. He crushed that home run in Game 3. versus Arkansas last week. You guys have the #1 strength of schedule in the country, Coach. I mean, it feels like every time I look up, you guys are playing either the Braves or the Dodgers. What has it been like in the SEC this season? I know you're at Auburn now, but just trying to navigate through this schedule as you guys go through the SEC West.
These guys have really bought in, and it hasn't been the prettiest of times. I mean, I think the toughest thing for us this year, and Coach Mary says it for every season to the team. I mean, your season is going to be dictated by what you do in 1- and 2-run ball games. And this year in the SEC, we're 2 and 4 in 1-run games and 1 and 2 in 2-run games. So we haven't won those close games like we traditionally have, and a couple of those games swing in a different direction. Instead of being 7-14, maybe you're 9 and 12, or 10 and 11, and you're right there in the mix of things in the middle or the upper part of the pack of the SEC. And I think that's been a little bit of a frustrating thing for us. But I mean, like you just said, I mean, you look at it, we've played the 1, 2, 4, 5, and 12 teams in the country just in the SEC alone. And these last 3 series are big for us. We finish up, obviously, like you said, we're at Auburn right now. We got Alabama at home next weekend, and then we're on the road to A&M. And, we've got to finish strong. And we've left a little too much meat on the bone in some of these other series that we've had some opportunities to possibly sweep, like at Kentucky or, I mean, we could have taken 1 or 2 at Tennessee, but you can't go backwards, and we just have to learn from our mistakes and push forward.
Ryan Bliss is one of the top hitters in the league for Auburn. What's the challenges that the Plainsmen present to you guys this weekend starting tonight?
Man, they have a really good lineup. Our 2 teams are actually pretty similar. Both of us have swung it well. Both of us defended at a pretty high level. And then, kind of the question marks have been, with the pitching and the bullpens. And even if you look at, like, their main dude, the kid named Richard Pitts, I don't think he's hurt. But, in the fall, I mean, you were getting reports on this kid that 94, 97 and power breaking ball and going to be one of the best guys in the league. And his season probably hasn't gone exactly the way he wants to go. And then you look at us, our big dude and Jim Hill ends up going down with injury and needing Tommy John. So there's a lot of similarities with these teams. And I will say this, in 2019, Auburn went to Omaha and they were 14 and 16 in the SEC, and they got really, really hot down the stretch. They swept through their regional, obviously won their super regional and got to Omaha. And, and a lot of these players that were on that team are still here. And, these guys aren't going to give up. I've watched them. We've all watched them. They're a scary team, and we're going to have to go out there and take care of business. Loved watching Mikhail Hilliard's performance last Saturday night. What'd you make of the senior? Man, it was awesome. It was awesome to see that. It was vintage Mikhail Hilliard. And sometimes guys just do better starting, going through that starter's routine before the game and maybe not being as much pressure to get loose really quick in the bullpen and be able to take your time as a starter. And he went out there and he was landing that breaking ball early. And another really good pitch that he, doesn't usually get to use out of the bullpen is his changeup. And I think he threw that 7 or 8 times and had 4 or 5 swing and misses, which is a really big pitch, especially against left-handed hitters in the SEC where they have really good bat speed. And, he's just really able to speed them up and slow them down and stay in the strike zone. And with Mikhail pitching, you're always going to have to defend very well. And we did a really, really good job of that. If you remember, we made some really good plays in that game.
Coach Nolan Cain checking in from the Plains this morning. Game 1 tonight for LSU and Auburn will come on ESPNU. Will be on ESPNU for a 6:30 first pitch between War Eagle and the LSU Tigers. Thank you as always for checking in, Coach. Go get him tonight.
All right, thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. There is Big Daddy Cain, Nolan Cain, checking in from LSU Baseball this morning as the Tigers get set for Game 1 versus Auburn tonight. That will go off at 6:30 for you on ESPNU. So remember, you can follow that game and that contest coming up. Daily, we're brought to you by Falaya Real Estate over at Falaya Real Estate. My good friend Barrett Blondo has been really changing the way that real estate is sold down here in South Louisiana and really throughout the state. We got a call for Barrett from up in Shreveport from one of the listeners from the Jordy Culotta Show a couple of weeks back looking to use Falaya's services. And Falaya is a way for you to sell your house on your own. If you're into doing things yourself, if you've ever wanted to try for sale by owner, then you got to try out Falaya. Listing plans start at $399. You can sell your house by yourself, save thousands with Falaya. If you want more information, just go online to falaya.com. Where's that sniper at, bro? Got sniped. Or check out the good Lord.
You want to cut that one up for the commercial?
Yeah, please. That's one of our finest, right? Or just download the app, the Falaya app today inside of your Google or Android stores. Falaya Real Estate, Barrett Blondo, good friend. Give him a call, 225-939-6153. All right, let's exhale after the last hour and a half. That was good stuff. Alston Thomas, Nolan Cain, and, of course, TJ Finley.
Great Falaya read.
Great Falaya read.
I know, I kind of feel like we're done for the day after that. I mean, we're just kind of
feel like we want to kick our
coasting
feelings. Right.
And that's the freedom we have in
No,
this
that's
space.
Nolan Cain.
You know what? We may or may not come back right here on the Jordy Culotta Show.
Okay, he's got something to do.
Stay tuned.
Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, jordy@jordyculottashow.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. jordy@jordyculottashow.com to learn more. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Welcome back here on this sunny Thursday morning to the Jordy Culotta Show, presented every day by Go Chevrolet. Remember, if you're in the market for a brand new vehicle, go see Lee Carney, Nick Richard, or if you want a used car, stop in and see him at Go Express Auto Sales. That is over on Florida Boulevard here in Baton Rouge. Newest member to the Go Chevrolet family. Thanks for all the interaction this morning. Good stuff as everybody getting involved inside of the bunker. If you're on Facebook, thanks for being there. JordyCulottaShow.com as well as we continue. Tomorrow, Lily will be here. Lily Courtney will be back in studio. We'll be celebrating some Mother's Day recipes.
Yeah, she made it seem made me very aware that Mother's Day is coming up.
Okay.
I was like, why does she keep mentioning this?
Just
Like,
don't
we need to
forget
do
it.
something on the show.
Don't forget
I
it.
know I've got the gift that she wants. I didn't get it yet, but I know what she wants.
Okay.
And if she gets it, she gets it.
She wants to do some very girly things tomorrow, so
That's
we're going
fine.
to do
That's
that.
fine.
We're going
That's
to do
fine.
that.
It's great.
Is there a cocktail involved? I'm in.
There's
Well, I
going to
mean,
be
a
a
Friday
cocktail.
morning
Yeah.
at the Culotta Show.
There's
There's no other way to start the day.
4 8 a.m.
yeah.
After those marks.
Those margs, bro. I can't imagine.
I'm a
one and
Modesto
half.
fan now.
Yes. I mean,
Majorly. I got to get over there.
Modesto is a great game day spot if you can pick up one of those margaritas for the walk.
For the
because
walk,
by the time
man.
you get to the tailgate, you will be the life of the party.
Yeah, you'll already be. There's no
mean,
awkward
If you get to
introduction
the
for yourself
tailgate.
there.
Turn that music up. Everybody circle around me. Dance party.
Modesto-
I'm in.
I'll be a sponsored athlete for every pregame match. Don't worry. I'll give you a
dude.
shout out.
Modesto drip.
I mean, you want to put some pressure on this name, image, likeness?
Right
Wait till the Jordy Culotta Show tailgate party.
Yes.
Having Max Johnson throwing out routes with beer cans at post game.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good stuff this morning. Where are we going here, Jack? You wanted to talk about Josh Gray?
I do.
Another LSU athlete enters the transfer portal. This time as an LSU basketball player. 7-footer Josh Gray out of the Bronx, New York, or out of New York, is entering the portal. I hate to be a dick, but there is no room, bro. I mean, like,
Gotta get off the boat.
We need that Scully. I mean, we're gonna need that scholarship.
Land ho,
back.
dude. There's
I'm
big
telling
things
you.
on the horizon.
LSU basketball, heads up, man. I mean, my guy Willie Wade is doing work in the transfer portal right now, as Adam Miller pledged last Saturday. Tari Evans already sent in his letter of intent from Atari Eason from Cincinnati. I love him. He's only a freshman.
And he just seems like he has high motor and long and just.
I mean, he was a McDonald's All-American coming out of Seattle 2 years ago.
Well, that's all these cats in the portal, though. Like, when you go through their bio, it's like McDonald's All-American, McDonald's All-American. It's like, it's a free-for-all.
I guess it's just the fad right now. And
why
people
not?
Yeah, right. Why not, man? I mean, there's 1,400 players in this thing. And for a recruiting just, lifer, lover like Will Wade is, I mean, this is a buffet. I mean, it's a buffet.
Yeah.
It's an absolute buffet. I mean, you get to a point where you're like, how much do I love my guys on my team when I have access to this guy right here? When you can upgrade, significantly at some points, at some spots. I still think that they have work to do in building this roster. I still think that they are in on a lot of high quality guys like Efton Reed, the 5-star out of Florida.
Trey Mitchell?
Trey Mitchell.
UMass.
The UMass transfer. And there's a possibility of a reclassification down the line that could come through. And if so, LSU is better than they were last season. And LSU's better than they were last season with guys like Trendon Watford and Cam Thomas and Javonte Smart. And, I still believe that the door is not wide open, but it is cracked to the possibility of Darius Days returning. And if Days returns to some of the guys that you have added to the mix,
man,
like Miller, Eason, and Xavier Pinson, I think that LSU's better. I do.
Yeah,
I think
they
they
can make a deep run.
Absolutely. I mean, when you think about who they were this season, they get knocked out by a number 1 seed in the round of 32, had them on the ropes for 28, 29 minutes of that game, and then come back with a better, deeper team with the tournament experiences that guys like Josh LeBlanc is bringing back to the roster. can't hide the basketball love that I have for LSU, but the potential of what next season looks like makes me as giddy as a TJ Finley text conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, just to think about potentially what could be with LSU basketball. Now, all the hay is not in the barn just yet. There's still work left to be done, but the work up to this point and the way that they sit with potential decisions is just got to make you feel like, bro, I mean, they pay him, extend him.
I'm most giddy about Trey Mitchell. I really like him. He's 6'9". I mean, he's 235. He can just run the court. He can shoot the jumper. I know him because he played in a private academy in Connecticut in my high school with scrimmage jump. I thought he was going to go to UConn, and he went to UMass. So I've known about Trey Mitchell for a while. And the fact
Really?
that LSU could get him.
Is he's in the portal right now?
Yeah.
Do you know him?
I'm not personally, but he's a number 2 transfer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a number 2.
You know who's
What was
number
that,
3?
Adam Miller?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's bagging top 5 guys, man.
It's
I mean,
like
it's
some Calipari 2015.
it's scary to think about what could be. Now it's not done, but to the work that they've done up to this point, to where they could potentially be in a month, is very exciting to think about.
When I heard Trendon, Javante, Darius, Cam, those 4 left, I was like, oh man, it's looking bad. It's looking bad. That's how I was at first, but now I'm just,
Well, this just goes to show you never doubt your boy Willie Wade, dude. He brings in a recruiting class like he did last year with the number 1 guy in Cam Thomas, and you're like, all right, let's see how he navigates the offense. And he did what you would do. You give that guy the rock and let him go score 30, and then you lose your top 4 scorers. You're like, well, maybe this is our first down year in basketball. Nope. He doesn't do anything but reload. He goes wherever he needs to go get talent and put a winning product on the floor, because that's the guy he is. He doesn't sit on his hands. He goes and wins.
Absolutely. I mean, his first team should have given you the reservation of who he is.
But that's just how he's going to operate.
I mean, he could have easily looked at that first team and said, we're going to suck this year. We're just not going to be any good, and we're going to take it, and we're going to go out and recruit towards the future. I mean, his day one, meeting with the team, he left there and said, we got to blow this thing up. We got to blow this roster up.
kind of what he's doing right now.
I mean, we've got to totally turn this roster over. If you remember, he brought in 7 new guys to his first team, and they made the NIT. That was that stuff with Bob Marlin, and Will Wade, where they were going back and forth between UL and LSU.
Talk about an environment that was electric. We talked about the Bronx yesterday and how that kind of was teetering on, that was on tilt. That place was about to explode. I mean, they were, 30 seconds away from a fist fight.
Yeah, they were.
But I like that for my coach. I want him to mix it up. What do you want me to sit on my hands over here? What you got to say?
That's not baseball.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it is potentially, it'll be fun to think about what LSU could look like next season, from a basketball standpoint on both sides of the aisle, men's and women's, because don't think she is not looking at him saying, "Hey, bastard, you ain't gonna outduel me." I mean, like, I'm coming after your ass. I mean, you get a 5-star, I'm getting a 5-star. And you get a transfer, I'm getting a transfer.
That's so awesome.
And the thing is, she had the 4 people that are still remaining on the LSU women's basketball team up front, and they're probably like, I don't know how long this seat's hot.
She's probably looking at him like, saying, we got 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 players.
It's like in the Batman when he breaks the pool stick and throws it in the middle for 2 people. It's like, we got 1 spot. Y'all duel it out. I got people coming in. I'll see one of y'all later.
Johnson Spillers Dentistry. Remember, every day brings you the Jordy Culotta Show. Stop in and see Dr. Chad Spillers and Dr. Johnson. They are in Gonzales and in Baton Rouge. I will be over at the Baton Rouge location 1 week from today. Looking forward to that. That's over on Perkins Road in between Seagan and Bluebonnet. If you need to make an appointment, you can jump online at johnsonspillers.com. johnsonspillers.com. Easy to find them there. Online with great social media as well.
I feel like we're on like a countdown till your dental visit.
I am.
Yeah, I've been thinking about.
Like, what are you gonna come back looking like fresh veneers?
Dude, are you getting veneers?
I don't know. Everything's on the table.
I'd rather not answer that question at this time.
Everything's on the table.
We're gonna have a presser before the
That's
visit.
right.
You don't need veneers.
Big veneers like Booger.
Yeah.
with a towel around me. Giving a little post-game presser.
Yes.
Because if you go
Not
veneers,
so much drill today.
yeah. if you go veneers, you can't just go 2. It's not like getting, it's not like getting tires on a car. You got to go all 4.
You're all in.
Yeah,
you're all in.
As big as you smile, that's what they got to
That's
see.
the money
That's
right
right.
there.
It
It's
is.
a moneymaker.
We'll see, man.
Speaking of money, what about George Jung? Y'all want to touch on that?
Yes.
How
Oh,
you say
my
it?
guy.
George Jung?
It's
George Young, yeah. I think it's like Young.
It's Young?
Yeah,
I guess
George
it
Young.
would
Well,
be. I guess it would
kept
be.
it
He
young.
should have died young, but he made it a lot longer than I thought he would have.
He absolutely did. Young is
My bad.
the centerpiece of the movie Blow. If you remember this movie, Blow with Johnny Depp, and who was the lead actress?
Is it Penelope Cruz?
yeah, it was Penelope
And it's all her fault. She gets him busted.
It
What are you
does.
doing, girl?
It's always
We're
the
moving
girl.
weight
The
here.
girl always blows it.
Well, yeah, keep it.
It was a
Use
good-
responsibly.
great undercover for the wait staff though.
No,
Is how
yes.
they got popped with the feds. But
His
George
trial
Young,
scene. I'm sorry, but his trial scene when he tries to talk to the judge like that, and she's just like, "That was very inspiring, Mr. Young. But please, you're going down for 25 years."
Don't you have
Young,
a photo of yourself?
who is
Oh
the,
yeah, I do. Let me
gotta
see if
put
I
that
can
up
find
there.
it. So I was George. Well, I guess I went more Johnny Depp because that's like the image you think of when you
You do
think of
look
the
like him.
movie. And I had my hair grown out at one point. So this is him in the trial scene with the.
You mean actually him?
Yeah, no, this is Johnny Depp
Oh, okay.
as George Young, but I think they're one and the same. And so he had like the nice flowing locks, da da da. And then so I went to recreate it. This me, I went to private Catholic school, so I had to keep it uptight. And then when I got to college, I just kind of let it grow out, boys. So y'all will see it on screen in just a second.
Remember on
Right.
Entourage when they did the whole? I mean, that whole
Medellin.
season was about
Medellin.
Medellin. Yeah,
Right,
remember
right.
that? That was great.
George Young, of course, is the drug trafficker known as El Americano, who inspired Johnny Depp's film
Okay.
Blow.
There it is.
So there's Johnny.
All right,
Do
Johnny.
we have a Lloyd?
Lloyd's coming up next.
And he helped Pablo Escobar smuggle plane loads of cocaine into the United States. He died at 78 years old earlier this week. Okay, Lizzie.
Yeah.
Lloyd, wait a minute.
Wow, bro.
He used to rock the locks, boys.
You
Whoa.
park that stuff
Yeah,
down the
he did.
middle, and we're gonna have some problems up in the UDL.
All right, y'all get out.
Yeah, all right. We'll be back with more of the Jordy Culotta Show tomorrow morning.
Keep these cameras rolling.
Jay House.
Damn, bro. Where were you?
I think that was in
That
Mike's
was
Grub.
awesome.
I think it was in Mike's.
Mike's.
If I were, yeah, I know. Well, dude, you got to remember, I'm 2011, dude. That's when that was probably a freshman. So yeah, Mike's was
He
still
could-
popping, and wherever the Grub was, dude, that's where you go. You don't care where it
Sure,
is.
sure.
Those doors are open. I'm walking in.
Lizzie, you should bring that back.
Please do.
Yeah.
That's
Bring that
amazing.
back. Especially this year, it'd be relevant.
Yeah, I could bring it back for
Real.
George. It's a lot of upkeep.
Bro, for one
It
night.
can't be more
Well,
upkeep
one
than what
night.
you have going on now.
I mean,
I got a lot to grow left. I got the
do.
back on the
Yeah, I
back
know,
wouldn't
you're
take long
good
at
on
all,
the
but
back.
back
you got to
is
have the middle
beautiful.
part.
Back is beautiful.
We're doing
Sounds
a
like
hair
it.
transplant.
I mean, I
Get
could
extensions. Get
easily be
extensions while
swayed
you're
at this
growing
point.
The notorious cocaine smuggler died at his home in Boston on Wednesday morning where he was receiving hospice care. His cause of death was not immediately known.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe he hears blow.
That's what I'm about to
Yeah,
say. I
he had
think we
kidney and
know.
liver failure, and I'm not a doctor, but I think I know what could relate to that.
So check this stat out. Odds are, if you did cocaine in the United States of America in the 1970s and 80s, think about the cocaine just explosion.
It was like an after-dinner
during
mint.
those decades. Yeah, exactly.
Nobody in this room knows about cocaine in the 70s and 80s.
Nobody. But there are movies that are laundry list long
For
that you
sure.
can go back and detail on.
Yes, we're not even that old.
Odds are,
Not old enough to do
if
cocaine.
you did cocaine in the 70s or 80s, 85% of the coke that came into America was moved by Jung and his people.
Talk about a
Boston
monopoly.
George.
I mean, did you? I mean, obviously, if you've seen the movie Blow, you know how they got away with it. But they would go pick up the cocaine in Colombia because Jung, when he went to jail for, I think he got caught with marijuana.
Marijuana, yeah, he was moving marijuana weight, and then he went to jail, and he
Went to
gets like this
jail,
like
and his
PhD in dealing
cellmate-
drugs.
His
Yeah.
cellmate is a Colombian who tells him about Pablo Escobar and about the cocaine trade that is happening.
So that's
and
how
they
he got
can't
in with
get
Escobar?
into America. And George, being the businessman that he is, he's like, put me in touch with Pablo, bro.
Not knowing
So,
who the hell
not
Pablo
knowing-
Escobar is.
And they get down to Colombia and they start loading up these,
Bricks.
essentially kind of like little
Bricks.
little puddle jumper planes
Yeah, single engine Cessnas.
Single engine planes, and they would fly under the radar and land in the Bahamas on a Friday or a Thursday, and they would let the plane sit for the weekend under secured dog guarded security. The plane would sit all weekend, and then they would fly out Sunday with all of the vacationers from South Florida that would fly their planes into the Bahamas for the weekend. They would fly back with them, and the radar would just pick up these small planes.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like ants crawling back in to America. So
hide
they
in
wouldn't
plain
stop it.
sight.
Yeah, they were just hiding in plain sight, and they'd fly into Miami, and they'd get a terminal, or they'd get a where you store the plane or whatever. They'd back up.
Yeah,
the
they
cars,
get
bro.
they get into a bay, and then they did do it where they had to go like
Put it up in a hangar. Yeah.
They had to go through. They used to put it in their. The first time they did it, they put it in suitcases, and they had to go get their bags checked. That is one of the most tense scenes of any movie you will like. You just don't even. You could have a bottle of shampoo and you get nervous when you get pulled over by TSA. Imagine having pounds of cocaine in your bag.
Oh
like,
my
well, I'm
God.
sweating.
in the 80s, bro.
Yes.
In the 80s.
Chris Terrell
did
says
that get
Baton
there?
Rouge is one of the biggest coke spots. Is that true?
Yes, Barry Seal was shot behind
forgot
Bon
about Barry
Marché
Seal.
in Mall City, and Barry Seal was the one that was flying these planes.
Why Baton Rouge though?
Because of Seal.
Well, and probably because like the import-export
Yeah,
over, they go
probably
through
because of
New
the-
Orleans.
of the port.
Yeah, you go do the water thing.
But I mean, Barry Seal, they have a movie about him, Tom
Yeah.
Cruise. I mean, in flying the planes and
It's a good movie.
the weight that they were moving, and they show him getting killed in Baton Rouge.
Hey.
I mean, he's leaving
Yeah.
right over on Florida Boulevard, and Barry Seal is one of the C-level figures. I mean, one of the executives in this time of cocaine trade, because of Seal's ability to fly planes. He was a wartime pilot, and came home and thought about flying commercially, but then saw an opportunity and just
Took it and ran with it.
Just went two nostrils in, bro.
face down like a Boeing, nose down. But could you imagine being at a party when Boston George's there and you're just like, that's mine, you're welcome, all of that came from me. Like just
5% of the cocaine that came into America in the 80s and the 70s came from this operation.
he had to be like, all right, this number's getting too big. Like the pressure.
But I mean, at what point does it?
I mean, if you see, when you see the movie, they're running out of places to launder, like store their money, and he's going through bags like, this is cocaine, this is money. It's just like a hectic
I mean,
scene
it
to
doesn't
live
end
in.
right. You either die or you go to jail. That's
No,
the
yeah.
ending.
When he's in the
Prison
the
or
labor
graveyard.
Yes, he's
Yeah.
in the labor room, and he's just absolutely done. Like they give some number of how much how much cocaine he'd ingested in a minute. He's like, 98% of people should be dead by now, and I'm watching the birth of my baby, and he's just like, zapped.
Okay, have y'all heard about the trillions of cicadas that are about to emerge?
No.
Have y'all heard this story?
No.
Like trillions,
Freak
and
me out.
they've been underground for 17 years,
What?
and they're
Oh, no.
they're
Like,
coming out.
Baton Rouge?
No, they're
right.
not in Baton Rouge, but they are in like 15 states from Indiana to Georgia. So they've been down in the ground for 17 years, and they're all about to emerge.
Why?
It's just like how they work. It's how nature works. So they come out and then they get eaten by a lot of predators immediately. But the ones that make it up into the treetops,
Trillions.
like they mate in the treetops, and then a lot of them fall back down and they go back down underground for 17 more years. Isn't that bizarre and freaky?
That's gross.
I mean, it's a
Hibernate
good
for
thing because
17
it means
years.
like even with like
So
climate
if you
change
left,
or whatever, it's
if you
still
left
happening.
17 years ago and you reappeared, you wouldn't know anything about a smartphone.
No, you wouldn't.
You wouldn't know anything
Well,
about
wait,
social
wait.
media.
Wait, 17 years,
17
dude.
years.
That was
Yeah, you
2003.
would. Oh my God, that's
I do the
right.
same thing
That's
all the
weird.
time.
That's weird. I do that too.
Wait, 17
There was no
years ago-
smartphone in
No,
2004.
man, I'm watching The
but-
Wire right now. It's
Yeah.
filmed in 2003. They're still talking on the flip Motorola phone.
Yeah, but I was like going back to the 80s when you said 17 years ago.
I
That's
know.
crazy.
I do that too. Like, didn't I just graduate like 5 years ago?
Yes.
No, you
Wait,
didn't.
what? No,
No.
I didn't. I know. I'm aware. I'm aware.
What else? Well, yeah, they come out the ground from 17
So they
years
come
ago.
out of
Like,
the
I mean, could
ground.
you imagine reappearing 17 years? Like,
Nope.
missed
Uber.
a lot.
Just to make.
Saban's still at LSU, right?
Yeah. Y'all want a natty?
So how many natties do
Actually,
have?
you won't believe this, but
I mean, seriously, sit down. We need to talk.
yeah, Saban's got a big old
Saints
shaw.
still suck?
Yeah. No.
No, they don't.
How's the Six Flags?
You missed the entire Breeze lifespan as a Saint.
You did.
If you're 17 years ago and you just reappear, you have no idea that Drew Brees and Sean Payton have had this Saints reemerge or kind of
the wild machine just rock, and then you miss it again. You don't get to see it
That's
happen.
Right,
yeah,
that's right.
So it's going to be like deafeningly loud. I mean, you know how they sound
Yeah.
anyway. So like the states that have them, it's going to be like super, super freakishly loud.
What is a cicada?
Should we like napalm
Like the
those?
like the locust.
Oh, it's like a
things.
locust?
You know the sound
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
summer, the
Yes,
cicadas.
yes.
I mean, we have them,
So this
but
is a
not
purge.
like this.
This is the Bible.
This is like
Yes.
a purge.
Pharaoh.
Yes.
It is
So-
just for them to mate, and then when they drop from the trees, they like bounce a couple of times and then go straight back down.
Wait, I'm kind of jealous of this lifestyle. You get to sleep for 17 years, wake up, get a little pump in, and then go back to bed.
Yes.
for another decade.
Actually,
Yeah.
sounds very familiar.
All right, that is the Jordy Culotta Show here on this Thursday. Remember, everything's brought back to you by RMB Builders. TJ Finley was phenomenal. Austin Thomas was great. Nolan Cain, great insight on the baseball program. If you missed any of it, check it all out. It is brought to you by RMB Builders. We are back with you tomorrow. We will be celebrating Mother's Day with Lily. Courtney will be here, Lloyd's mom.
Proud mother.
Making a couple of cocktails and making some
Pipping the Mother's Day menu for what
some
I think
Mother's Day
she'll
menu.
be. She'll be doing at Red Stick Spice is I think the connection there. So
Yes.
you'll be able to sign up for a Mother's Day class and get a cocktail.
Yeah.
All right, like, share, and post on the comment. We appreciate that very much. Enjoy your Thursday. We're back with you tomorrow morning.